All right, thank you guys. Happy Tuesday to you. We got ourselves a fairly robust slate of college basketball action here for you today. Now, if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please feel free to do that right now as well. I'd greatly appreciate that. And with that said, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content here. The Mississippi State Bulldogs take on the Tennessee Volunteers, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Thompson Bowling Arena. Now, the Tennessee Volunteers are the 10-point favorite at home. Total's 127 flat. And if you like the Bulldogs in an upset on the road here, they're plus 350 for an outright win. Now, we've been victorious in 3 out of our last 4 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. Now, we currently have over 1,125 paid members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. I think it's a great idea. And the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Mississippi State has successfully covered the point spread in 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they're actually in the top 15 in the country in shooting the 3 ball on the road. Mississippi State scores 80 points a night when they travel, and they connect on 42% of their 3-pointers in that same category. DJ Stewart scoring 18 points a game along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Meanwhile, Iverson Molinar is scoring 18 points a night himself, along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Now, the sophomore from Panama has also recorded 18 total steals defensively, and he drains nearly 50% of his 3-pointers. And the Bulldogs are in the top 20 in the nation in road offensive field goal percentage as well. They're taking on a Tennessee squad who they're currently on a 2-game losing streak, and they failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 6. Now, the Vols are also making just 71% of their free throws. And when it comes to the total on this one, Tennessee saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line. 6-1 to the over in their last 7 hosting the Bulldogs, if you're into historical trends. Meanwhile, Mississippi State is 6-2 to the over in their last 8 ball games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Mississippi State Bulldogs plus 10 and the over 127. Before we go ahead and move on here, guys, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Tuesday's college basketball action. Once again, happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to your week. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we've been victorious in 3 out of our last 4 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And you can actually unlock today's daily best play for just $1.99 when you click the link in the description section below. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you're going to get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. So once again, when you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you're going to instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and what I do on my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. It's not an entire slate of college games. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus wagering on every single game that's on the slate, side and total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. Now, real quick here, guys, we currently have a community of over 1,125 paid members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. I'd love to have you. I strongly recommend you at least consider utilizing that website. But anyway, guys, moving on, we got some more free content to kind of scroll through here on YouTube, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Our next matchup is SMU versus Memphis, and that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the FedEx Forum. Now, the Memphis Tigers here, they're -3 with the total at 143 flat. Memphis has failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 9 ball games, and they're just 2-4 against the spread on their home court. Now, the Tigers are connecting on just 31% of their three-pointers at home as well. They're taking on an SMU team who's actually in the top 25 in the nation in defensive field goal percentage. The Mustangs are holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field. They're also perfect 3-0 straight up away from home. Kendrick Davis is scoring nearly 20 points a night along with 5 boards and 8 assists. Now, the junior from Houston has also recorded 16 steals, and he makes 86% of his free throws. Meanwhile, 6'8" forward Farron Hunt is scoring over a dozen a night himself, along with 9 rebounds. Hunt's also recorded 11 total blocks defensively as well. Now, the Mustangs are 8-2 straight up overall for the season, and when it comes to the scoring in this one, 3 out of SMU's last 6 ball games stayed under the line, throwing out the UCF contest. The Mustangs are also 6-1 to the under in their last 7 at Memphis. And speaking of the Tigers, they are a perfect 6-0 to the under at home this season. A very impressive, well, I don't know if it's impressive, but staggering 12-1 to the under overall for the year. I'm sorry, that's just such a big stat there. I don't even know what to say. But once again, Memphis 12-1 to the under overall for the year. I'm going to lean toward the underdog SMU Tigers +3 and the under 143. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Kentucky versus Alabama, 7 p.m. Eastern start time. The Crimson Tide's -6.5 at home, numbers 148 flat. Bama's 7-1 straight up at home, top 25 in the nation in offensive rebounding. The Crimson Tide scoring 82 points a game, and they find themselves right in the heart of a 9-game winning streak. John Petty Jr. is scoring over 14 points a game, 5 rebounds and a couple assists for the senior from Huntsville. Petty's also recorded 18 total steals defensively. Meanwhile, Jaden Shackelford's scoring over 13 a night himself, along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. The Crimson Tide successfully covered the point spread in 8 out of their last 9. Now they're taking on a Kentucky squad who's just 1-3 straight up in their last 4, and they scored just 65 points a game on the road. The Wildcats are also making just 28% of their three-pointers on the season, and they shoot only 70% from the stripe. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Kentucky's last 3 stayed under the posted number. They're also 7-1 to the under away from their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Alabama Crimson Tide, -6.5, and the under 148. Next contest should be a good one. I'm talking about Oklahoma versus Texas, 7 p.m. East. The Texas Longhorns are -4, totals 143 flat. And if you like Oklahoma in an upset on the road here, they're +165 for some money line cash. Now, OU's just 1-3 straight up on the road this season, 1-3 against the number in those road games. The Sooners allow 79 points a game when they travel, and their opponents are hitting nearly 44% of their 3 balls in that same category. The Sooners are also letting their opponents connect on 50% of their field goals on the road as well. They're certainly taking on a very good Texas squad who's won 8 out of their last 10 themselves. And they also find themselves in the top 25 in the nation in defending the 3-ball. Now, the Texas Longhorns are holding their opponents to just 28% shooting from beyond the arc and just 38% shooting from the field. These guys have been playing very stout defensively. Of course, when it comes to the scorers on this Longhorns team, Andrew Jones, he's scoring over 14 points a game along with 4 rebounds and a couple assists. Meanwhile, junior guard Courtney Ramey is scoring 14 points a night himself along with 3 boards and 4 assists. Ramey's connecting on 45% of his three-pointers as well. The Longhorns are scoring nearly 80 points a game on their home court. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Texas's last 6 straight all got over the line. They're also 63% to the over on their home court this season. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Texas Longhorns -4 and the over 143. All right, excuse me. Next matchup, it is going to be Georgia Tech versus Duke, 9 p.m. Eastern tip at the Cameron Indoor. Now, the Duke Blue Devils are minus 6.5 at home. Totals 140, juice to the over. Duke's allowing nearly 73 points a game at home, and they make a paltry 65% of their free throws at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Now, Duke has failed to cover the point spread in all 6 of their home games this season, and they find themselves just 1-9 against the number overall for the entire year. They are taking on a Georgia Tech squad who's won 7 out of their last 9 themselves, and they also successfully covered the point spread in their last 4 straight. The Yellow Jackets score 79 points a game, and they hold their opponents to just 67 points per contest when they travel. Now, Jose Alvarado scores nearly 18 points a game along with 4 boards and 4 assists. The senior from Brooklyn has also recorded 29 big steals this season, and he drills 86% of his free throws. Now, Moses Wright is also scoring 17 points a game for the Ramblin' Wreck, 7 boards and 2 assists for the 6'9 forward. Wright's also recorded 20 steals and 14 blocks defensively as well. And when it comes to the total in this one, Georgia Tech's last 2 straight both got over the line, 4-2 to the over in their last 6. Meanwhile, Duke saw 4 out of their last 6 home games get over the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets plus 6.5 in the over 140. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be in the SEC. I'm talking about Missouri squaring off against Auburn, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. The Auburn Tigers are minus 3 at home, numbers 150 even. Now, Auburn's lost 5 out of their last 8, just 3-4 against the spread on their home court this season. The Tigers are allowing 74 points per contest. They're taking on a Missouri squad who's 5-1 in their last 6 games away from home. They're also 10-2 straight up overall for the season. Mizzou's in the top 25 in defending the 3-ball, top 20 in defensive field goal percentage on the road. Now, the Tigers are allowing just 66 points a game when they travel. Xavier Pinson scoring 14 points a game along with 3 boards and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Drew Smith is also scoring 13 a night himself, along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Smith also has 22 steals on the season and makes over 85% of his foul shots. Now, total-wise, Mizzou saw 4 out of their last 6 stay under the line, throwing out that Tennessee upset. Meanwhile, 2 out of Auburn's last 3 stayed under the total themselves, 6-3 to the under in their last 9, throwing out the South Carolina game for them. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Missouri Tigers plus 3 and the under 150. And with that, guys, we are going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. We're going to stay in the SEC conference here. I'm talking about LSU versus Texas A&M, and that's going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Reed Arena. The LSU Tigers are minus 4.5 away from home. Totals 140 and a hook. And despite struggling over the past couple of games, we're still looking at an LSU squad who's 9-0 straight up when favored, and they score over 84 points a game. Now, Cameron Thomas is scoring 22 points a game along with 3 rebounds and 88% shooting from the stripe. Meanwhile, Trendon Watford is scoring 19 a game himself along with 7 boards and 4 assists. Now, LSU is taking on an Aggie team who lost their last 2 straight ball games, and they also failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 10. Now, the Texas A&M Aggies are averaging a pitiful 62 points a game, and they're shooting just 29% from downtown. That clearly, has been kind of the story with this team this season, is just their failure to get on the scoreboard. The Aggies have actually scored 56 points or less in their last 5 straight. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, LSU saw their last 4 straight all get over the posted number. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10. So we're going to kind of, rely heavily on LSU to help get this one over. I like the LSU Tigers minus 4.5 and the over 140 and a hook. And with that, guys, we are going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we've been victorious in 3 out of our last 4 daily best plays on that website. I like Mississippi State plus 10 over 127, SMU plus 3 under 143, Alabama minus 6.5 under 148, Texas Longhorns -4 over 143. Georgia Tech +6.5 over 140. The Missouri Tigers +3 under 150. And before I give you our next and final free picks for the show, one final reminder that you can access today's daily best play on Patreon for just $1.99 by clicking the link in the description section below. Also, guys, please feel free to smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. You can also subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. Give me the LSU Tigers -4.5 and the over 140 and a hook. And with that, guys, we are going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 commenters over the past couple of days or so. So with that said, shout out to Johnny M., Brian Resnikoff, D. Nice, Marco Blanco, Fong Mua, TCGMD 2010. Shout out to Noman Erkin, Miles Davis, Darius Allen. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Tyler Harris. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also, keep in mind if you get a package here today, all the cheaper memberships are free with your purchase. So, for example, if you get the $4.99 package here today, all the cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.